Hello everyone, I'm Gabby Paredes and I'm doing a news story this week for Brazil. This article is called Brazilian Politicians Avoid Carnival as They Become Targets. It was written by ABC News on February 25th of 2020. As we saw in this module, Brazil has been celebrating Carnival by having parades. Some of the parades are being used to protest the government. In the past, Brazilian officials have attended the parades to join in on the celebrations, but as they receive criticism from samba schools that participate in the parades, they have not been attending in recent years. The article states that this tradition came from President Franco attending the parade in 1994, which raised his popularity with the people, and although his government at first didn't like him attending the parades, but when they saw that it helped raise his popularity, they started to accept it. And other presidents after him followed in his example, but President Bolsonaro, who's the current president of Brazil, has chosen to not attend this year's parade, which at this point has already happened. In the past, people used Carnival to interact with politicians, like taking pictures with them, talking with them, but as the people call out the corruption of the officials more and more, the officials no longer want to attend the parades or the celebrations because they're afraid of what could happen. The reason why these politicians and the officials don't want to go to these celebrations anymore is because while in the past there has been attacks, it's been more general, like to the entire government as a whole. But now in more recent times, it's becoming more personal as they target individuals rather than the entire government. And then President Bolsonaro, he disapproves of the entire celebrations, calling it debauchery, talking about how he doesn't really accept it because of his own beliefs. And then officials, sometimes they choose to go, most of them at this point are choosing not to, but some have chosen to appear but just briefly, and sometimes when they do go, people notice that they're there and then they start protesting them. In this year's parade, one of the floats by one of the samba schools was called the Fake News Factory that was protesting how President Bolsonaro allegedly used fake information in his presidential campaign in order to win his election. And then the performers say that their protest isn't against politics, but against the corrupt politicians. Then the political actors in this story, of course, are the people, the performers in the Carnival parades, the ones that attend these samba schools, who in turn make these floats, that denounce the officials and their actions, and the people who celebrate and attend the parades. Then the government officials, President Bolsonaro, the mayor of Rio, and the state governor. The connections to the module are corruption. Brazil's politicians, they're being exposed for their corrupt practices, which lead to more of these protests during the celebrations. And the article mentions that right now Brazil is currently going through a car wash scandal that is exposing many of these officials. And then another connection is that the use of Carnival as a protest. We saw in the video about Marielle Franco and her murder that Carnival was used to protest issues regarding the government. Both the video and the article show how the corruption is handled and how Carnival is used to expose it, because in the video we saw that Carnival was used to bring up the issue of her murder and how the government really wasn't handling it right, because it was believed that it was someone in the government that had ordered her killing. So when Carnival and the parades came around, they used it to protest how the government was handling it. And I think that's it. Okay, that's it. Thank you for listening. I hope you have a nice day.